Hello, Ryan Adams here from naturalweightlossmastery.com. Dr. Susanna Holt developed the Satiety Index, a scale for measuring different foods' ability to satisfy hunger. The study was then published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition. And I firmly believe within the principles of the Satiety Index, we can find a secret weapon for weight loss. Let's discuss. So Dr. Holt's team fed the same calorie amount, in this case 240 calories worth, of 38 different foods to participants. Satiety ratings were then obtained at 15-minute intervals over a 2-hour window, after which participants were free to eat as much as they liked of certain, or a standard rather, range of food and drink products. In terms of the findings, there were significant differences in satiety, both within and between the 6 food categories. That's not a surprise there. The highest satiety index score was produced by boiled potatoes. They had a satiety index of 323. Now, any OG subscribers on this channel will know that I've been singing the praises of white potatoes and sweet potatoes, for that matter, from a weight loss perspective for many a year now. Why? Because they're so low calorie density. They provide such a wonderful volume for very few calories, truly filling and satisfying. So they're tremendous from a weight loss perspective, very low in fat as well, which helps. So that's not too much of a shock to me personally there. And they were actually 7-fold higher than the lowest satiety index score of the old croissant, which I'm not too surprised about. White flour puffed up there. Not too surprised to hear that's not that satisfying. So interestingly, Dr. Holt's team concluded that foods that contained protein, or at least decent amounts of protein, fiber, and water actually tested positively in terms of satiety index scores, whereas fat content was negatively associated. So that's really interesting. So again, there is some hesitancy there. One of the largest criticisms of this study was, listen, you only measured this over a 2-hour window. Satiety should perhaps be measured for a little bit longer than that, and I would tend to agree. Also, there were some foods that tested really highly, that came out really highly in terms of satiety index scoring as well, which I certainly wouldn't be recommending from weight loss, nor certainly a health point of view as well. Like jelly beans, for instance, came out really, really highly. We already know from findings that fatty foods are not that satisfying, even though people expect them to be. That's one of my largest critiques of the ketogenic diet as well, is I don't find fats to be truly satiating, and the science seems to agree. So jelly beans, as we see here, also scored higher than expected. Very interesting indeed. So foods that are incredibly filling, then we also know the white potatoes. Eggs scored very highly. Oatmeal is something that I'm often recommending in these videos. Very hearty, very filling, very fiber rich indeed. Fish scored highly, soup scored highly, meat's quite high up on there, Greek yogurt, vegetables. I would have thought vegetables would be slightly higher actually, so that's really curious. Cottage cheese, legumes, our beans, split peas and lentils and whatnot. Fruit, quinoa, nuts, coconut oil, popcorn. Few surprises for me there, not surprise popcorn's on there. Few surprises for me there. So obviously from a plant-based perspective, there's lots of ideas there. I'm always talking about I'm always talking about potatoes in these videos, mine. Always talking about oatmeal, the fruits, the nuts, seeds, so on and so forth. So yeah, lots of options there. So in terms of secret weapon for weight loss, I think taking a brief look at the satiety index is something that could really help. Something else that I often recommend is looking at calorie density charts, which I'll actually link one down below to save you the trouble there. And you can pull up there a list of plant foods based on their calorie density. And we want to focus most of all, if we're stuck with weight loss right now, if we're really struggling, we want to focus on those that are at the upper echelons of the calorie density model there, calorie density pyramid, let's say. And when I say upper echelons, I don't mean they have a high calorie density, I actually mean they have a low one, but they tend to be at the top of this list. And so the likes of legumes, as we discussed, beans, split peas, lentils, fruits, veggies, whole grains like our brown rice, oats and quinoa, tubers like sweet potato, white potato, yams. We know that these are very, very low calories in terms of the volume that they actually provide. So we want to fill most of our meals with these sorts of foods if we're looking to lose weight. So most certainly something to be learned from Dr. Holt's work there, Dr. Holt and the team's work, in terms of the satiety index and how that can help with weight loss. Let me know your thoughts on the satiety index down below, what you're going to start adding to your diet after watching this video, after looking at the satiety index. If you found this video useful, make sure you smash that little like button. Let's get this message out there to as many people people as we possibly can. Subscribe if you're just running into my stuff for the first time. I'll see you in the next video.